Manchester United's pursuit of Frankie de Jong could be disrupted and potentially hijacked by Manchester City. A number of reports circulating this morning that the blue half of Manchester is interested once again in the signing of the very talented Barcelona and Dutch midfield player. We're also going to touch on Arsenal this morning. Italian reports that they have a done deal for Aaron Hickey, the fullback, to join them this summer. And some loose reports this morning of Antonio Conte, Antonio Conte's star of his title-winning Chelsea team, Chelsea midfielder, World Cup winner, KANTE, may be linked with a move to Manchester United. Random one. We're going to delve into all of that for you this morning on the Done Deal Show. Smash the like and the share button. Let's go, people. Good morning to each and every single one of you. Welcome back to the show. Make sure you're hitting that like button this morning. You're subscribing to the Football Terrace as well. The little bell notification button, very, very key to turning on. Something YouTube told me recently as well. If you leave a comment, not a live comment while you're watching, it's great that you do. After the show, leave a comment. It helps with further notifications, just the way their algorithm works. So make sure after this video, when it re-uploads, like instantly leave a comment, any comment, it'll do. It'll be fine. There's some interesting news this morning. Frankie de Jong, potentially Man United's pursuit being hijacked by Manchester City. I'm going to take you through that story, what I think and feel on that as well. Aaron Hickey to Arsenal. KANTE to Man United is a loose one that, in the newspaper roundup today. I'm not too sure about whether I'd want that to happen or not. That's an exclusive from the Mirror that are putting that out today. But I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Comment here says, hijacked, please. He just wants to go to City, not United. So snub would be more precise. Listen, I think that's a fair point of view. At this moment in time, it's certainly a hijack, if you want to use that turn of phrase, because if Man City don't come in for him, United have still got a very good chance. If Man City do, and I'll give you my honest opinion, I'd be very surprised if he chose Manchester United over Man City at this point. He would then certainly snub us. It's only a snub, though, once he's made his decision. So, Nico, you're right, but you're a little bit premature on that. In terms of the story itself, and let's go through this in a little bit more detail this morning. The headline here is Frankie de Jong is willing to sacrifice $6 million in unpaid wages to seal a move to Manchester City this summer, with the £65 million Dutch midfielder set to snub Erik ten Hag and Manchester United if he is to leave cash-strapped Barcelona. And this just feeds into the fact that Pep Guardiola has wanted Frankie de Jong for a long time. He wanted him when he moved to Barcelona, but City couldn't get the deal done. So there is a huge possibility here that this could happen. There's a huge possibility here that could happen. There's a huge possibility that he could end up at Manchester City. When you listen to the kind of reports coming out of Barcelona, what is really clear to me is they have these financial issues. It's not being spoken about as gospel by Xavi and sort of the hierarchy and very close journalists. They're not coming out for me and being deadpan blunt. We're in a mess. We're in trouble. We need to sell people. But there is almost that we don't want the player to leave. But sometimes financial situations dictate, and they can spin that in any which way they want. I think there's a huge possibility that Frankie de Jong leaves Barcelona this summer. Where he ends up is absolutely up in the air. Man United, of course, have a chance because of the relationship with Ten Hag. We are Manchester United. We're a very, very big club. But City, they're very likely to become the Premier League champions. They're very likely to be challenging next year, the year after that. Pep Guardiola looking at a new deal. The style of football Pep Guardiola plays, an academy player from Ajax who then moved on to Barcelona, you hazard a guess that he's pretty good at doing it. And many people will say, well, do Man City even need him? Well, my response to that is yes. The top teams have to continuously innovate. The top teams have to continuously buy top-class players. Look at how good Liverpool are, but they're looking to add the likes of Tchouaméni, young Carvalho coming through. You always have to add more quality to the depth of your team. It has to happen, you know? So from not wanting to leave a few days ago to snubbing 6 million in wages, this is rubbish, in my opinion, to get United to hurry up. There's deadlines. No, I think that's a good point, Dan. And of course, this is a great angle from yourself there. This certainly could be a story from Barca to force Man United along. Now, what's intriguing, though, is this. The official word from Frankie de Jong and his camp, until the moment a deal is agreed, will be he's very happy to stay. He loves Barcelona. He loves the fans. He respects the heritage of the club. He sees a future here. He'll say that because this deal may not materialize. Someone might invest money into Barcelona. It may be suddenly out of the blue, the different player in the squad has a big money bid come for him and they can work out a way of keeping Frankie. So Frankie de Jong has to play the game here and say how much he loves Barcelona in case he ends up staying at Barcelona. He can't go, I want to leave, and then he stays and face that raucous crowd. At the same time, you're right. This could be a red herring. This could be a story set out to draw Manchester United out, especially with it being Man City that he's looking at. There's no doubt about that. We had a comment here from Benjamin, which is very intriguing one from a YouTube point of view. He says, this is why YouTubers make me laugh. 1 minute he's signing, the next minute it's hijacked. You know nothing about United's transfers this summer. You guess, then cling on to it.
Oh, Benjamin. Oh, Benjamin.
People ask me why I use the voice changer. That's how I hear your voices in my head. YouTube, we don't know. Of course, we don't know the news. Whether you're Mark Goldbridge, whether you're Don Robbie, whether you're True Geordie, probably the biggest 3 football YouTubers in the world. We just tell you what the newspapers are saying, and then we give you, Benjamin, the opportunity to give your opinion on the story. Very respectfully, like Dan did. Dan didn't just super chat and say, Terry, you're chatting nonsense, because Dan knows that this isn't my story. I'm not coming to you and saying, guess what I was told this morning by the agent. I'm saying this is a news headline, and I want your opinions on it. Ben, it's okay though. Maybe Ben didn't understand that about what YouTube. I think if people actually understood how and why and how YouTubers work when it comes to news, I think what really doesn't help in the modern day era is the mainstream media is also on YouTube. But remember, people like Fabrizio, Sky Sports, TalkSport, they're not YouTubers. They're conglomerates or professional journalists that use YouTube. YouTubers and people that use YouTube are 2 different things. Just saying. Jonathan here says ideal replacement for Fernandinho is what Jonathan's got to say. Yeah, listen, I sort of feel like Mamba Flossie laughing there. I think Frankie de Jong to any club is a tremendous signing. He's a phenomenal player. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. In other news today, Aaron Hickey, Bologna fullback, young Scotsman, ex-Heart star, 25 million euro deal to Arsenal has reportedly been done. Now, there's been nothing so far from any of the British tier ones. Nothing from Fabrizio Romano. You would expect to have his finger on this pulse. Damasio being the goats of Italian, the goats of Italian transfer news. There's nothing official from that point. So I'm not sure whether this deal is actually agreed with all parties. I think Aaron Hickey, I think that element's done. I think the player why would he not want to join Arsenal Football Club from Bologna? Like, no disrespect, Arsenal Football Club are a massive football club. Of course he would want to join Arsenal Football Club. That is not even a debate for me. Like, it really isn't even a debate. I think he'd love to do that. I still think there's work to be done between the 2 clubs, but it does appear a transfer that is motoring forward. It does appear a deal that is progressing in the right kind of way. There's been no secrets that the Gunners are targeting him, but they've gone about this the kind of right way. Now, it was a Claudio Rosso who says yesterday that the deal has been agreed. He tweeted out yesterday that the deal, there's an agreement when it comes to the player and that a bid's coming in. He said this is what his tweet translates to. He says that the runaway Hickey, Napoli will be considered decisively uphill. The strong insertion of Arsenal is now in place, essentially stating that because of Napoli were looking at him, Arsenal will come in, and that appears to be where the deal is heading. That it is going to be an Arsenal deal. He said the clubs have already got a strong rapport. Of course, after signing Tomiyasu last year, the Bologna for around £18 million. The deal was going to be between 20 and 25 million euros. Again, a very good steal, a very talented young player. I think he's 19 years of age. Very much fits the model that Arsenal have been going for in recent times. Of course, they've got to add some experience to that team as well. But these gems at in euros, 20, 25 million euros here, it just helps bolster out your squad. It really does help bolster out your squad. And look, I don't know how good this young man is. I've seen some compilations. I've been looking at some statistical background. I've read some old, and I implore Arsenal fans to do this. Read the old scouting reports. Don't read the new ones. Don't read the ones after the link, because they'll be shrouded in bias, whether it's positive or negative. Find a scout report on him from 12 months ago when he wasn't linked to Arsenal, and then you really see a true reflection. And it reads really well. Like, it reads really, really well about him. So I'd be quite encouraged if I was an Arsenal fan about this deal. Not because we all know how good he is or what his ceiling is, an example, but he's talented. Predominantly plays left back, can play right back. Stock is growing all the time. A tall lad as well. 1 meter, not very, very tall, but what is he, about 6 foot? Something along those lines. A good height, good strength, good technical ability. This could be a very, very good deal for Arsenal Football Club, no doubt about it whatsoever. Now, I want to go to some of your comments here. Hickey qualifies as Italian homegrown if he stays in Italy another season. Doubt he'll move to the Premier League if the move probably... You say he doubt Hickey will move to the Prem. I'm going to be honest. I know he isn't English and he's Scottish, but he gets to move back home essentially, because when you're in London, Scotland, we're United Kingdom, we're Great Britain, like it's the same place to a degree. It's Arsenal Football Club, my friend, and I know people like to shit on Arsenal and we all like to banter them, but they're still Arsenal Football Club. Very good deal in my opinion. I really think it'd be a good deal. Would love this deal to materialize for us. Hickey can provide competition for Tierney and cover, especially with Tierney's injury record. Listen, I think it's long-term thinking. No doubt about it whatsoever. No doubt about it whatsoever. Hickey is too slow for the Premier League, is what Rohan's got to say here. Lawrence says, I don't know anything about Hickey, just like I didn't know anything about Tomiyasu. He's going going by reports, he seems a decent player, and Scotland does produce top draw fullback, so fingers crossed. And I think that's a very good point you're making there. People don't know very much about him. So I'm not going to say, wow, he's going to revolutionize Arsenal's team. Within 2 years, he's going to be the best young fullback in the league. I don't know. What I'm saying is scouting reports are quite good. The compilations I've watched, technical-wise, he looks quite good. It's a fairly cheap deal by modern-day standards. It's a player that, of course, has come through the British systems, so it's not like he's going to have to adapt to the weather, the food, the culture so much. It's a decent deal. And if it doesn't work out, they haven't broke the bank. They haven't broke the bank at all. So there we go. Matry here says, Old Trafford has become to be the biggest circus. Every good player we get, we turn them into one of the clown members performing comedy stretches. Listen, that is true. We need to break that trend. We absolutely need to break that trend. Now, I need that like button to be smashed this morning, people. 1 second. 1 sec here. Just updating something. Sorry. Let me just update that. There we go. Cool. Right, that's done now. That's updated. I need to update something. I needed to update something while I was moving forward. William here says it's simple as this. Tell people will always say this and that. England mad for that. Most important thing is his attitude. A thing a lot of England boys lack and always foul from, is what William's got to say there. Hardly hijacked. He wants Champions League football. Which Manchester City can give him. Yeah, look, I look at it from this point of view on the Frankie de Jong thing. It is a hijack because Man United are looking at the deal, and Man United have made progression. So the reports that Frankie de Jong has said no to Manchester United are untrue. This is a fact. I've spoke to 3 journalists personally who have just said that the stories are true. Man United are making inroads. Manchester United are working on this deal. Manchester United hold a level of confidence, but of course they won't put that out publicly. It's just played down right now. Frankie de Jong wants to work with Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag wants Frankie de Jong. Yes, 2 days ago, Erik ten Hag agreed to the deal. He said, yes, get it done. I want it. He, wants that deal to happen and to materialize. So there isn't a snub yet. Man United have not been snubbed at this point. But that could happen. That could happen. There is no doubt about it that could happen, that could go through. That could. He could reject them. Terry, what's with the Troop Saeed beef? I've seen stuff trending, but I was far too, with all due respect to those gents who I know them both. I haven't met Saeed, but I know them both. I haven't really looked into what it is. I don't know what it is. I will have a little look later, though, when I've got a little bit of downtime. I'll be intrigued to see what's gone on. I'm sure it's one calling out the other in a stream. I'm just going to hazard a guess. That's what it's been. And there, but you call, if you call troops out, troops are going to come for you. That's all I'm saying. That's what's going to happen. I'm talking online, not physically. Like, it's not one of them ones. I wouldn't expect it to be. There we go. But yeah, look, Frankie de Jong, he could reject Man United. He could snub Man United. But as far as I'm aware, this deal is far from being concluded in any direction. That's as far as I'm aware. Now, there was another story going around today that I wanted to get people's views on. I wanted to get people's opinions on. I wanted to know what people thought and felt about it. And it says that Manchester United's new manager, Erik ten Hag, is looking to next season and drawing up plans. He says the Mirror is one to price suggestion that the Dutchman is keen to bring in N'Golo Kante from Chelsea. The 31-year-old French international has a year left on his contract, and Tuchel may let him go to rebuild his side. It's crazy to say that these words out loud, but you have to put into context it is 2022. I would not want to buy N'Golo Kante now. He is better than every single midfielder remaining at Manchester United. There is no doubt about that. He is better. So I'm not trying to disrespect him. I'm not trying to disrespect his ability. I'm not trying to disrespect what he's done in the game. Never would. Never have, never would. He's a sensation. He's in my top 6 midfielders in Premier League history. I think he's that good a player. But he's a bit old now, isn't he? He's a little bit old. He's a little bit past it. He's a little past his best. And I would worry that this could end up being, Nemanja Matic is a great example of money being spent on a player that was just about to pass his sell-by date 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think we should do that again with Kante. We need to be looking for a player. Boubacar Kamara may never reach Kante's levels, but he's young. He's got his future ahead of him. That's a tough deal in itself, by the way, because Atletico Madrid are very close, I'm told, to agreeing a deal. You've also got Roma and Villa that are circulating as well. Man United have got competition for that player. Ati, of course, themselves, they're looking to go again and build another team. So United, but I'm using him as an example. Break the bank for Tchouaméni. Again, very hard without Champions League football, I know. But buying a 31-year-old who is past his best, the fact that, and this is why it doesn't. I can't see it, and I don't want it out. There's 2 trains of thought with this deal. Chelsea are looking to rebuild their team, and they're getting rid of the guy that United are bringing in to build their team. The only element to it that would make sense is we need some experienced players to maybe nurture the younger players we're about to buy. So if we were to land Kamara and we were to land Frankie de Jong, and I'm using this as an example, so everyone stay calm, maybe someone like a Kante on a 2-year, 3-year deal to come in and help could work. Maybe that's a train of thought and thinking, but it does worry me. Like, legitimately, when I look at it, it worries me. It does. But that's just my take and my view on it. I want yours. I want your thoughts. And Kante to Manchester United. Is that a deal that you would like to see happen? Now, I'm going to give you the chance to phone in this morning and have your say on these deals. I'm going to share the link now in the live comment section. I'm going to pin it to the top so you'll see it. If you want to phone in and have your say on these transfers or any others that you're seeing circulating, call in now via the StreamYard link. I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Chris here says Kante won't go to Man United. He will probably go to Okay. Yeah, listen, I think we need younger players as well. I think we need younger players personally. Kante sold for 32 million. I said at the time we should have go all in for him. Yeah, listen, it was 32 million. People always forget it was 32 million because of a buyout clause. Even more reason why, Man United should have gone in for him. There's no doubt. He's lost his pace and ability to get those last-ditch tackles. I agree. I've definitely seen that from him. He just isn't quite the guy. And that for me, listen, Kante at his peak, one of the greatest holding defensive midfield players I think there has been in European football history. I think he's that good. But it goes to show as well, only special players can go beyond their early mid-30s and still perform to their best at the highest level across European football. If you think about midfielders, so many greats just that haven't been able, once they hit those early 30s, to maintain their levels. And that's the body will always catch up with you at some point, I suppose. It always catches up with you, and everyone's got a different. I think with someone like Kante as well, because he was so physical, so much of his game was based on physicality. I think that plays a big part in it as well. Movement, getting around the pitch, getting amongst it. I think all of that plays sort of such a big part. These things can sometimes happen, but there we go. Make sure we're smashing like peoples on this show. Let's get this past 350 likes while we're live on the air. Morning to yourself, my friend. Where are you all watching from today as well? I would like to know. Where are you watching from, my people? Let us know right about now. Who the hell is Hickey? Arsenal are going for Champions League. Surely they need players with higher regard. Let me say this now, Anthony. They do, but everyone's got to get out of this. Look, I'm not gonna do the same thing Gooners did the other day. When Man United got linked to Frankie de Jong, Arsenal fans started losing their minds. But they need a proper DM. They need this. They need that as well. Oh my God, why are they buying Frankie de Jong and not these other players, bruv? It's the 15th of May. It's the 15th of May. The transfer window doesn't end tomorrow. Arsenal being closer to signing, people have got to understand this. And I do blame the mainstream media, and I do blame some of the big YouTube channels. They never relay this information correctly. Clubs seldom buy their players in order of importance because all deals take different amount of times to get done. You might not be the only club fighting for a player. Some clubs might want to find a replacement before they can sit down on the negotiation table with you. So it's okay. Our number one priority is a world-class midfielder, but our main two targets, we're probably not going to be able to get them until July. So Arsenal do no business between now and then on any other positions? Just think about that logic out loud for 1 second and just realize how stupid it sounds. And that's not saying you're stupid, Anthony. I don't blame you. I used to think like that. And then you start to talk to professionals in the game and you realize that signing in order of priority is weird. It just doesn't work like that. It's as simple as that. It just doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. Now, as I say, is Hickey going to be the guy that comes in and revolutionizes Arsenal and suddenly makes them title contenders? No. But I still think it's a very good signing. The two things can work alongside each other. There's no doubt. We're going to go to some calls in a minute. Abdi's going to come on and have his say. We're going to get City Express and a few more on to speak. Yeah, Izzy here says, yeah, Anthony, you are right. Our only target is a left wing back. This guy is the answer to our issues in midfield and up top. Exactly, Zizzy. You're absolutely spot on there, my friend. I don't even want to sound rude, but sometimes it makes me laugh. Salim's watching from Kenya. Big up yourself in Kenya, my friend. Mark's in Doncaster. Cape Town in South Africa. We've got callers from India, which is really nice to see. Zambia. We've got Paris in the house. Dallas, Texas. Howdy, partner. We've got Nigeria. What man's watching from Nigeria? St. Lucia. I'd love to go to St. Lucia. What beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country. Malaysia and Johannesburg, Trinidad and Tobago. Listen, always got love for that country because my guy Dwight York, man's from Trini. Virginia in the USA, Germany, Denmark. No disrespect to Germany, just like a bit boring to me, just like England. It's been there so many times. Yes, it's another country. I mean it with respect. Lovely country. Just it's a bit like when someone goes, "I'm from London." Yeah, so am I. Do you know what I mean? Denmark. I've never been Denmark. Holland. Listen, I've been Holland a few times, but that is a fun city. You can do stuff in Holland that's illegal in nearly every other country in Europe. So it makes it more fun. It's like buying a loaf of bread. From Basel. Oh, that's an interesting one. Basel, you know. I like that. Where else are people? Nepal. Where else? You're from the Seychelles. Now that's like a holiday destination everybody dreams of. Absolutely. Lots of people from Cape Town. 3 or 4 I've seen from Cape Town. Man here from Thailand. One of my best friends lives in Thailand now. Beautiful house he's building out there. Australia. Good day, mate. Never going to your country. No, I'm joking. I just got a rivalry with the Aussies. You know how it is. You know how it is. Wales. Go on. Bit of Wales in the house. England. From England, bruv. England's here. Do you know what I mean? Nobody's holiday destination. Tourist destination. I wouldn't call it a holiday. But that's my thoughts. From Beirut in Lebanon. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Right. We're going to go to some calls in a few moments' time. Please make sure that like button is being hit. And you're sharing the stream across your social media platforms. The headlines today: is Frankie de Jong set to reject Manchester United for Manchester City? Could that happen? Hickey to Arsenal, is it a done deal? And KANTE to Man United, could it be happening? First caller we're going to get on the show today is going to be Abdi. What you saying, my friend?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
I'm very, very well. What are you here to speak about?
I just want to talk about the FA Cup final yesterday.
Go for it.
Obviously, Liverpool won. Credit to them. But Chelsea, I just want to talk about Chelsea for a bit. You know how everybody discredits City for basically buying their success. And literally, I never hear anybody talking about Chelsea doing that. Like, it's always City. City bought everything. City bought the Premier League title. City bought the FA Cup. But nobody ever talks about Chelsea doing that when they literally did exactly the same thing. So I just want to hear your thoughts about that.
How old are you, Abdi, if you don't mind me asking? Are you younger than 25?
I'm 18.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. So everything you're saying about Chelsea happened in Chelsea's first 10 years of having money, 10 years or so. When City then got their money and PSG got their money, and if you actually now look at the ownerships of the since Roman came in, look at the owners of many, many Premier League teams. Lots of multi-billionaires have bought clubs. So Chelsea very much went through this, but after sort of 20 years, it's almost people have stopped doing it. Does that make sense? Equally, Chelsea have been successful in the last 7, 8, 9 years, but nowhere near the level of City domestically. So City are getting all the attention now. And you know what's going to happen in another 10 years' time, 15 years' time? City's success will be more accepted by the mainstream in terms of it won't be looked at as buying it, because it'll just been there for a long time. So Chelsea did get the criticism that you're suggesting. It did happen. But I mean, I want to say this with respect. You were like 3 or 4 years old when it was happening. So of course, you're not going to remember it, you know? You're on mute if you're trying to speak, bro.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah. I just wanted to say that in it. I just wanted to put that.
Absolutely not a problem at all, Abdi. Listen, I appreciate the call and you coming on and having your say. Top man. Thank you very, very much indeed. It's one of those things I always say to people. It's why is it important when you're having football conversations is to speak to people, yes, your own age, but older as well. Because Abdi there is just falling into a trap of thinking that no one has said it about Chelsea. But they did. He just doesn't remember it happening. This happens a lot in politics. Every 10 years, you'll have protests and riots over a particular subject matter. And that new generation thinks they're the first generation to bring that point up. Bruv, it happens every 10 to 15 years. You just didn't know that because the last time it happened, you were on your, you know what I mean? You were being suckled by your mum. you were trying to keep the grape water down. Grape water, not grape water. There we go. Terry, where are you getting this news from? All three of these stories are trending right now across social media. So that's where and from all the mainstream, just Google the names of the players and the clubs that I've mentioned them to. Google Kante Man United, Frankie de Jong City, and Hickey Arsenal, and you'll see the stories. I just Google it. Like, you'll find it, my bro. Next on the show this morning, we're going to go to Dark Side User. What you saying, my friend?
Hi, Terry.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. First of all, I'd like to big up my teams yesterday, FA Cup victory. And I like to call out that coward Daniel. It seems to be that whenever Chelsea get beat, he does his Scarlet Pimpernel act and disappears. But also, big up all the other supporters out there. And hopefully West Ham can do us a favour today. But yeah, what I'm actually calling you for, Terry, is now Frankie de Jong to Man United would be good if you get him. But the question I want to ask is, why is it that all them superstars of Ajax of the 2020 era, have literally all of them have left, gone to different teams and countries, and they've all failed in one capacity or of another? I just want to know why you think that is.
So, Frankie de Jong, my honest opinion
And
is
Ziyech.
Ziyech,
And
yeah.
Donner.
So Ziyech is a little different. Ziyech was older, so I feel that he's, I don't think he's Premier League level. I think Frankie de Jong and De Ligt, I use them as an example. I think they moved too young. Jude Bellingham's a great example here. I know he moved young, but he went into a team that has a lot less pressure on it. When you're that age, sometimes it's better to be in a team where you're not expected to be the star. And I'll give you an example here. When Manchester United bought Cristiano Ronaldo and Wayne Rooney in back-to-back summers, neither were expected at 18, 19 years of age to be the leading light that delivers, that turned Man United back into a title-winning team, won us a Champions League. That pressure was still on Ryan Giggs, Paul Scholes, Roy Keane, Rio Ferdinand at the time. What sometimes goes wrong for these players is they get thrown in and it's right, Frankie, you've got to be the new Iniesta instantly, but he's a kid. Iniesta wasn't Iniesta at Frankie de Jong's age when he arrived at Barcelona. It took him time, right? De Ligt went to Italy, which is renowned for its defending at 18, 19, and was expected to be this complete centre-back to help deliver league titles in the Champions League. It was ridiculous. You actually look back now, both players should have stayed at Ajax for 2 or 3 more seasons, developed themselves and been nurtured. Donny van der Beek is a really good point. I think it's very different. He went to a team and a club that's in an absolute mess. I think it's a hard one to judge in relation to that. But what is your theory? Why do you think these players, in your eyes, have struggled when leaving?
I think it's to do with the Dutch league as a level. Because all 3 of them have gone to 3 of the top leagues in the world, and 3 of the best teams in the world. Each one of those teams have got their own issues, but as quality players as they were supposed to be, they got to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Everyone was raving about them. For all 4 of them to fail, you know what I mean, Terry?
Listen, I understand your point. Circumstance for a few of them is very, very key as well. But I do sometimes feel young players, Renato Sanchez is a great example. Sometimes players, João Felix is another one, moving too early and going to the wrong club, or sometimes both things at the same time, can be huge issues. It's why I'm begging Jude Bellingham, because he's English and I want him to develop for England. It's why I'm very, very desperate for him to stay where he is. Dark Side User, great call though, my friend. Thank you for coming on and having your say. I really appreciate it, mate. And we'll speak again soon. Thank you. Listen, it's a good point. It's a good call when it comes to these players. They haven't been the same as they were at Ajax. But I do think you have to look at, are the clubs signing the right players to them, their style of play, the right age? Have they got the right quality around them to nurture them? As it were, especially with De Ligt. De Ligt's one of those where everybody was like, I think also when it comes to young defenders, Like, I don't think defenders get to their very best until they're about 24, 25, especially centre backs. And how old is De Ligt now? I don't even know because I haven't looked at this player for a long time. What is he? He's still only 22. You know, like a lot of 22-year-old centre backs don't even start playing regularly until now, until that age. So, yeah, I think he's got time, and he also needs. I don't know if it's injuries, so I haven't even looked at the record. He just needs more games as well, but. I don't know. I mean, has he even won anything out there? He won Serie A. He's won Coppa Italia once and the Super Coppa Italia. But yeah, maybe he needs to move. Maybe he needs to go somewhere else. But there we go. Right, next caller on the show, Terry Tibbs is here. What you saying, Tel?
Hello, mate. Are you bothered if you miss out on Frank de Jong? Honestly, I mean, like the previous caller said, the Dutch players haven't been doing it for a while now, but it's not just the Dutch players, is it? Neither. You know, there's a lot of young players out there that I can think of over the last, let's say, 20 years, who haven't developed how they should have done at the club that they, you know, were signed for. Case in point, Kevin De Bruyne with Chelsea, Salah with Chelsea. You know, there's players that suit certain clubs, and the problem is nowadays is that clubs believe the hype. And they jump on the bandwagon and they try to sign these youngsters and try and get them in and mold them. And sometimes it doesn't work like that. You've got to let them stay at the club that they're at and wait till a certain age. Let them grow a bit, let them get hair on the bollocks. Do you know what I mean? And I think for you missing out on Frankie de Jong, I wouldn't be bothered. I mean, you'd be bothered if it was a Jude Bellingham or it was a Tchouaméni or someone like that. But really, he's done nothing really since he's been at Barca.
I understand your point. And at the same time, within your point, there's also a case of, but what if he is right for what Ten Hag is going to try and build? And I think sometimes what clubs do, and Barca are such a great example to my point around clubs being run well, because the Frankie de Jong signing happened in the kind of midst of all the nonsense that led to like half their board being arrested. Like you go back sort of 3 years. Look, he is 25 years of age, by the way. So he's getting to a point now where he really, or he just turned 25. So you go back those 3 years, he was sort of 21, 22, and he moved to Barcelona just before lockdown. The board get arrested for doing madnesses. So I wouldn't even, you know, was he the right signing for them? But often Ajax to Barcelona seems a good move because there are clear links between their footballing styles due to the Johan Cruyff connections and, you know, the Louis van Gaals and, you know, the Dutch Barca connection is there. So it's always looked at as the right move, but sometimes it's got to be the right move at the right time. And he's played regularly for them. He's played well for them in terms of an individual player, but the team and the structure has been absolutely wrong. So I do think it's really hard to judge him as an example in that circumstance. And I'll give you an example. Look at Man United and how many players join us, start well and go bad, or don't do well at all, leave and then do bits elsewhere in other leagues or with other teams, because suddenly they go into a system or into a club where things are just being run much well to brilliantly. And I do think there's a chance. However, if we don't get Frankie de Jong, it's more of a case of we still need quality of that level. And that for me is I'm never dead set on one particular player. It's, well, let's go and get quality. What I don't want to do is go from being linked to a Frankie de Jong and end up signing, you know, another McTominay. Does that make sense? Like, it's almost we need a technically gifted central midfielder that has box-to-box ability that can play the ball through the lines. We saw yesterday that one of the big differences between Liverpool and Chelsea was Thiago. Now, there's not very many of those players around, but of that level, especially. But you need someone we have no one in midfield that can break the lines with passing, and it's an issue. So I get the Frankie de Jong link. Equally, I do feel there are some positives within it as well, mate. But a question for you: how's the hangover this morning?
It was all right, until I came off the call with you yesterday, and then I seen David come on and just totally contradict himself. I mean, there's just something about David. I mean, I love him when he's talking about other stuff other than Liverpool, because as soon as he talks Liverpool, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Like yesterday, he's going on about for instance, he was saying about the gap's not as big as you think it is. We've played you, and we've drew with yous and took yous to 8 minutes. Okay, David, so let's use your logic then. So are you saying that Spurs and City, the gap isn't that far because Spurs have beat City twice this season? So we're using that logic, you know? And I just didn't understand what he was trying to get across. I mean, the league table doesn't lie. They're 16 points behind, you know. But yeah, the hangovers. I've just had to come and drive down and pick up the kids. I didn't really worry. My head's banging. I took an aspirin this morning.
I hear that, Tez. Listen, mate, we'll speak again soon, brother. All the best, mate. Take care, mate. Take care. Yeah, you know, when you have people watching that don't have children, when you've got a hangover, and then you obviously you always got to have your kids, but looking after your children, parenting is. I tell you one thing that's a bugbear for me when parents say that they can't go out tonight because they're babysitting. Oh, who are you babysitting? My kids. You don't babysit your own kids, you parent them. I always love that turn of phrase. Shrey's on the show now. What are you saying, brother?
Hey, Terry, can you hear me?
Perfect, my friend. What do you want to say?
Yeah. I think the De Jong to City deal actually can happen because of the structure point you just mentioned. You know, unless United don't fix that up, I don't see any major transfers happening because of the mess United are in. You know, above Ten Hag, and I think that's what Ten Hag has to first fix. You know, that's the priority number one for him, and I think a lot of you guys have mentioned on the show as well. And I think, and the second thing with City is I'm not sure where will De Jong fit in, you know, in terms of game time, because I believe he's a box-to-box midfielder. Correct me if I'm wrong, you know, because you know, he plays along that role of Fernandinho, Foden, they like who like to roam around with the ball, you know, like have a free role, you know, basically. So I'm not sure how will he fit in, you know. That's my only concern of City.
Yeah, look, I get your point on that. I think that very rarely have Man City under Pep Guardiola, Liverpool under when Klopp's been there. Very rarely have they signed the wrong player. Very rarely, even if it takes a year or so for that player to hit the heights, I think that they've been able to do it. So, you know, it's one of the only real fear I've got is that every time Man United have signed the player that City are also going for. So Maguire, you know, Fred. It's never quite gone the way we wanted. Alexis Sanchez, it hasn't quite gone the way we wanted it to. So, but you know what will happen? They'll win this one, and then it'll absolutely kill it. But you're right though, Shrey. It's all about structure at the football club, and and you can fix those structures very quickly. It's about behaviours. It's about the players being made to work hard, and we'll see what happens with it, though, my friend.
I think I think the Glazers are huge. I don't know. I think more and more people need to get on this Glazers thing, like, because they're the ones who are letting it happen. Like all your fights, I read, yes, I think was it 2 days ago, like a story about the fights in the dressing room. I don't understand why people are not going on the Glazers. I seriously don't understand. Like, it baffles me to some extent.
It baffles me as well, my friend, how they blame everything. It's the players or it's the managers. It's like, no, after 9 years, it's the way you're run. But I think I'll die and go blue in the face, holding my breath for people to actually focus on the real problems. So I'm done. Shrey, I appreciate you coming on, my friend. Thank you, buddy. Speak to you soon. Cheers, bro. Thank you. An update for everyone that has just tuned in so that you know Frankie de Jong is set to be willing to sacrifice £6 million in unpaid wages to seal a move to Manchester City this summer. Of course, Man United are looking at him, but he could snub Erik ten Hag and United if he leaves cash-strapped Barcelona. Hickey to Arsenal is also set to be a done deal. The young ex-Hearts fullback who's currently at Bologna in Serie A, Italy, is set to be joining Arsenal Football Club. These are two trending and major headlines this morning. We're giving you the chance to have your say here live on the Done Deal Show. So make sure you're smashing that like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. It's important to us that you get that done. Another call now. The only fan channel that daily lets its viewers call in. Imagine that. Imagine that every single day. We're going to go to Ashraf is on the show now. What are you saying, my friend?
Hey, Terry, can you hear me?
Perfect, my friend. What do you want to say?
All good, man. First of all, just big up to you. I'm a huge fan of the channel. I think you're building something great here, so it's amazing, man. A couple of things. So I'll start with my club first, Arsenal. I think the Hickey move could be good. I know a lot of people will always be skeptic about these names that are not really popular or unknown. it has worked really well with Tomiyasu, obviously. So I think our club has got a lot of things wrong over the last few years, but we have done decent with the scouting. So if they've discovered players like Tomiyasu and obviously Kieran Tierney and all, and they've showed up well, this Hickey one could be good, especially with our injury record with Tierney. The second thing on the De Jong transfer, like I still feel that there's a chance he might stay at Barca. I understand they have the cash issues, obviously, and that's probably why he'd want to leave if they can reach an agreement, because they've done that with Dembele, they've done that with Araujo, who I think is probably one of the best young coming centre backs in the world right now. They've done that with Coffee as well. So if they can get an agreement with De Jong, I think he's way better off staying there, because they have an exciting project. They're building something superb there. And people say, oh, he hasn't been performing. I don't think that's been the case. I think he has been doing really well for them. He can play as a 10, as a 6, as an 8. And outside Pedri, which of their midfielders has really been killing it over the last years? I mean, they've had issues, obviously. If he does end up leaving, though, I do think he would be better off moving to City versus United, because with City, he will have that 1 year to adjust. He has other starting midfielders that will allow him to cope up and adjust to the game better. He can play alongside Rodri. He can play in place of Rodri in case Rodri is injured, or if they want to just rotate players. Whereas at United, I want to get your opinion on this, but I just feel that the pressure sometimes might be a bit too much, because obviously, because United, of course, with their name and the history and everything. But given the situation United are in right now, whatever midfielder you bring in as a starting midfielder, the expectancy will be to perform immediately, because you're at such a bad situation now. You need whoever to come in to actually live up to that name, to live up to that hype, and actually perform, because you're at such a bad situation right now. Whether it's Declan Rice, whether it's Basuma, whether it's De Jong. Whereas at City, he won't necessarily have that unnecessary pressure, and will have that 1 year to.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think that anyone that comes into United, there will be an expectation for those levels of performance. But I think that's where Manchester United fans have got to temper their expectations. So every time we've signed a player and a star player of that, it's almost been like this player is going to transform us into the end result, the team that can challenge and win things again. That's also our own expectations letting us down. It's that we've done it to every single young player that's come through the academy in the last 9 years, from Adnan Januzaj to Rashford to Greenwood. Every single player that we've signed, it's instantly is going to make us brilliant again. We have to develop patience ourselves, that these things take a little bit of time. And I know that people will say, no, other clubs like Real Madrid, there is instant pressure upon their players to perform. That's fine if your team's already challenging. So if Man United were a team that were already challenging and you sign Frankie de Jong, I would expect a higher level of performance and influence straight away. We are rebuilding. I don't like the fact we're rebuilding again. It's embarrassing that we're rebuilding again, but we are. And you're absolutely right. Patience is going to be key. The difference is, though, most Man United fans, especially on social media, don't have it, especially is there is a lot of equity, there is a lot of growth, there is a lot of attention to be had through being overtly negative and setting unrealistic expectations and standards, and people will just follow suit. So we'll see what happens there. Really good call, Ashraf. Thank you for coming on, mate, and having your say. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Thank you. Just under 300 likes. Let's get this past 350 likes. We're live on the air, my friends. We are, of course, going to be live after the Spurs game. We're going to be live after the Man City game as well. And a big update for you this evening. Tomorrow, the Top 6 show is back. Fan channel reaction is back. And we've got some crackers for you. So if you've got anything you want me to review, by the way, on the fan channel reaction show, send me a DM. My Twitter account, the link to my Twitter account is inside the description below. If you don't follow my Twitter account, I'll just put it on the screen for you. That's probably the easiest thing to do. Let me put it up on the screen so you can see it. At Terry Flewers, really simple, really easy to follow. You'll see it there. Let me zoom in just in case. So you know it's my one, right? There we go. Go give me a follow on Twitter. There you can see my tag. Go give me a follow, but send me a DM. DMs are open, I believe. If there's anything that you want me to feature on the fan channel reaction show, a video that you've seen, a content creator you like. And one of the reasons I want to do that is a big part of the fan channel reaction show is to promote and support and help everybody, whether they're already a GOAT or whether they're, me and the Expressions were talking actually on Friday, because I featured him and was chatting about his. It's about supporting the industry. So if you, especially, and they don't need to be superstars. So if it's someone you watch that's funny, really good, or they had a crazy rant, send me the link through, send me a DM. encourage me to go and watch it, and we will promote them and push them on the Football Terrace. And later on in the year, what we're going to be doing is giving you the chance via that show to nominate these people for Fan Content Awards at the only and the official Football Content Award ceremony, which happens in around October every single year. So we're really going to help promote and push channels and people outside of the Football Terrace as well. By the way, as we've always done, the Football Terrace has always done that for people, and we always will. So send it through to us and let us know. Plus, give us a bit of a follow over there on the old Twitter. That'd be great. Listen, everybody that's tuned in this morning, a lot of love for you all. We had some super chat here that I missed. I want to go back to. It says, Terry, I'm really worried the Glazers are going to screw me over. They could, my friend. I'd be worried. I'd be worried if I was you as well. James here says, Trent is the youngest player in Premier League history to win all 6 major trophies at 23. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal achievement from him and, of course, Liverpool Football Club. And, he's given himself such a great base to go on to be one of the most decorated football players in English football history. We'll see if he can. We'll see if he can deliver and do it. And do you know what I like about that, James? Is when Trent's winning these trophies, that's what people are talking about. Trophies. Trophies are the biggest. They are the biggest barometer for how successful and how good, how consistent a football player is, how good their decision making is. And Trent, sensational. He really, really is. Absolutely sensational. Listen, until next time, my friends, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we're going to see you all again very, very soon. Thank you.